speed holes, titanium, carbon fiber, a couple of speed holes there, speed holes and titanium hardware, some titanium hardware, carbon fiber, titanium hardware, drilled hinges.
What is wrong with you? What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Sub to Club channel. We're here with Mike Wagner.
Yeah, Swiss cheese Mike, roast beef Mike. They'll have a lot of different internet monikers out there, but roast beef Mike is the household name for my whole M3.
Could you tell us how you got into cars and the track days?
Ever since I was a kid, I just like cars. I don't know where it started really. Like cars, trucks. I like cement mixers. I like garbage trucks, car carriers, anything that's kind of mechanical. It's got wheels. I kind of like it. How I got into tracking? Well, you know, I got this car in 2013. I told myself I was going to leave it stock. We know how that goes. I was going to enjoy it, the casual track day, and well, here we are. You know, I had my first track day, and I was like, that's it. It was that first hit, and I had to keep going. I started with the casual things, you know, intake, exhaust, remove the rear seat because it's reversible. And then it kind of went all downhill from there. I got a little taste of the lightweight, and that was my quest ever since. I've had a lot of inspiration over the years. Slicer from Slicer Paddock, he showed me, shared with me a couple pictures of a amplifier bracket that he did with some speed holes in it, and I saw that, and I was like, I know this is a thing, but I can do that to my car. So I started drilling, and the rest is history. I began to comb through all kinds of parts diagrams on Real OEM and some other BMW parts websites. I've been through every page of the parts catalog of this car and just examining parts that I might not be able to see. Mm-hmm. So I can take off panels and I could drill that. I can get a drill bit on that. I started doing the obvious things, and then I started doing like the harder and harder things where I'm taking off multiple panels to get to small plastic brackets where I'm reducing the plastic by drilling it or cutting off tabs that are completely not needed anymore. Yeah, so you start with the basics and then you get crazier from there. I'm into drilling plastics now. That's kind of where I'm at.
Since we're talking about weight, do you know the current weight?
I don't actually, and it's unfortunate because people ask me all the time. So when this car was getting its suspension put on at MRF Engineering, on wheel stands it was 3220. So obviously I have the fat M359s on there. They're probably like 45 pounds in the front and probably 55 pounds in the rear with the 295 tires on them. It's relatively heavy, but that was before the carbon doors, the front carpet. That was before the seats. I had full panels in there with speakers, iDrive, airbags, and that was before some other speed holes that got put in the car as well. So 3220 was on wheel stands, but I have yet to get it back to MRF for some adjustments, and I should have a good weight with half tank, wet, ready to run.
Okay.
Soon.
Do you have a target?
All of it. I still want to look good. That's my thing. Lightweight. My little hashtag is lightweight can look great. Although I can't go crazy and like ditch like the speedometer and tach and all that kind of stuff. Like the e-brake handle, I still like to be able to, you know, pull the e-brake handle and park it wherever I need to if I want to jump out and take a picture for the gram, you know, that kind of thing.
So Mike, what's been done to the car?
Well, let's start with the front. Let's pop the hood here. So that lip is just a eBay lip from China. It was 400 bucks. I don't remember the brand. It's been holding up okay. I call it my eBay Active Aero. There's no ducting hooked up yet. I have a list of things that I want to do, but Carbonious carbon intake.
Jeez.
I got the socket. This is how you know you're fast when you pop the hood. If you're able to make the power steering tired, you're pretty quick. So you gotta have the sock there. Just kidding, that's a joke. I replaced some of the hardware with titanium. You'll see it here on this thing. This is another thing on the list. I'm going to take this guy off and drill this up, this power steering bracket. I got rid of the wiper reservoir and the tabs associated with behind the fender here. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm like taking things off. It's like 2 hours worth of work to get the fender off and the fender liner and all that crap, just to use a hot weld drill bit and pull off the brackets for the plastic tank. So you end up saving a lot of weight going after the little things too. They all add up. I even pulled the hoses that go through here. I plugged these up just to come for that OEM look. Plug these up with some caps that I think I stole from the hood. So we got track spec hood vents. Some of the hood structure was gone. It's the OEM aluminum hood. I'm probably going to drill this. This hardware is going to get changed out with titanium when the time comes. I'm kind of thinking about drilling some speed holes in some of the outer structure of the hood. I drilled this is one of the first exhibits of the speed holes that you'll see here in the hood hinge.
Yeah. That is crazy.
They really don't need to be very rigid anyways. When they're closed, they're all folded up, and they don't have a huge impact on, I mean, they're not wobbly or anything like that. It's fine. People are always like, are you worried about, rigidity in the hinges? No, I'm not. They're fine. Moton two-way suspension. The full SPL suspension catalog is on this car. I think that's it for the front half.
Okay.
Moving on to the middle. We have a single hump dash conversion. iDrive delete. We have a weight optimized e-brake handle. I drilled myself. A couple of speed holes there, some titanium hardware. I still have the airbag module because I have to code out the airbags, and from what I understand, you still have to keep that to do that. I have Team Shermer parts, carbon doors. They're painted to look OEM.
Yeah.
That was important to me. I didn't want to be like one of the people with like black or yellow doors or whatever. I kind of want it to look OEM. I know the car's a little bit dirty right now, but if you look at a certain angle, you can see the carbon weave through the paint. It's kind of cool. One of my favorite things. People come up to the car and then like, oh, it has carbon doors, and they're like, holy smokes. So these ended up saving 35 pounds each once all the parts were in them. When I say all the parts, they keep the window regulators, they keep the factory mirrors, the factory door locks and everything. I just don't have a door card that goes in it right now.
Gotcha.
When I took off the door holders that go right here, those are almost a pound each. I think they were like 9 ounces each, something like that. Well, half a pound each, a little over half a pound each. I currently don't have a passenger seat in there right now. I still have to take a heat gun to the sound deadening and scrape that off. There's some under the dash I want to get to. Speaking of the dash, when I had the dashboard out to do the single hump conversion, I drilled and optimized the dash bar. You can't really see it from here. I did a single cup holder conversion with some Bondo. I just put some painter's tape behind the existing cup holder, sealed up with Bondo, and sanded it. It's nothing crazy. It's not some crazy GTS spec cup holder thing. It's just my nonsense in the garage, just having fun. Yeah. It's slightly less weight, though. I think those cup holders are somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 ounces each. Radio delete is just a piece of the headliner. Okay. I cut it out. It was a nice curved piece that was like up probably by the shark fin. And I just cut it out and I shoved it in there and it stayed. We have an element fire extinguisher. That's the big one. It lasts for like a minute and 30 seconds. I need to find a better place to mount it so it's more accessible. If I'm in a fire, I could probably rip it off there pretty quick though, no problem. The fuel tank covers are carbon fiber with titanium hardware. Those are from a company called Weight Loss Motorsport. Very cool. Those saved, I think, almost 2 pounds something like that. I removed the side panel that goes underneath the rear quarter window. You don't need that. Makes it quieter, but that's not what we're after. All the carpet's been removed. I think the front carpet's like 16 pounds, 13 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood each. That is what I noticed let a lot more noise into the car, more than anything else. The doors didn't really do much for the noise. Actually, they didn't do anything for the noise. It was all the carpet that made the biggest difference in the sound. This is one of my other favorite things of the car. So this is from the same company, Weight Loss Motorsport. I had to make me a carbon fiber fuel door lid. And initially, he was like, I don't know, man. You know, it's a 3D part. It's got these like careful edges here. And I took off my steel door and I was like, you can make this, just do it. So he did it. It is the coolest thing. That is
pretty cool.
It's such a subtle thing. You wouldn't even know. You would walk right past it without even noticing. But yeah, saves 9 ounces. Another big thing is the brakes. So the Essex AP Racing brake kit. The rear is the CP 4060 kit.
Okay.
And the front is the CP 5060 kit.
Okay.
The rear saved about 16.5 pounds. The front is somewhere in the neighborhood of 22.5 pounds.
Wow.
Of unsprung and rotating weight.
Right.
MSI studs. Cobalt Racing brake pads.
Cobalt, okay.
My preferred pad.
Okay.
These are not the wheels and tires I use for the track. I have a set of Apex wheels that I love. The ARC8s, they're like the early ARC8s. They've lasted me a long time. They feel great. It's a night and day difference when you go to a lightweight wheel from these anchors here. Yeah, I'll typically run NTO ones, although I've used some Pirelli TH takeoffs in the past. Yeah, again, with the wheels, it's such a huge difference going to a lightweight Apex wheel than these. It feels like the car got like 25 more horsepower. It's a big difference, for sure.
Let me stop you real quick. What kind of horsepower are you making now with the engine setup?
I've never had it on the dyno. I have an AFE mid-pipe with the high-flow cats, Vorstener Type 2 titanium rear section, and the carbonaceous intake. No tune or anything like that. It's probably, 4 1/4, somewhere around there. Nothing too crazy.
And what kind of lap time are you seeing these days?
I'll do a 159 at Buttonwillow, but I haven't been back since I've done these modifications.
Right.
I had one track day at Willow Springs where 4 laps into it, I was just getting accustomed to the car and how she was feeling, and the driver's front tire blew exiting turn 2.
Oh no.
So fortunately the car was just fine. It communicated what was going on very well, and I was able to keep her on the track and limp back to the pits. But my day was over, and it was the only set of tires I brought. Yeah, I was 2 seconds slower than my fastest time there, which is like a mid 133, I think, my PB at Big Willow.
That's fast.
And that was before all the
aero and everything.
That was just brakes and NTO ones, basically. Yeah.
Nice.
So, moving on to the back, we have one of my favorite parts of the car, Aeromotion's S1 dynamic wing. It's tapped into the ECU. It takes information from the car, throttle, brake position, speed sensor. It has its own accelerometer, I guess. And it kind of takes all that and it puts information into its little brain, and it moves the wing around to help you do what you're trying to do. The wing itself weighs about 14 pounds with everything. That's the wiring, that's the motors in these uprights, the wing, which is entirely made of carbon and aluminum. There's no like styrofoam or crap like that in there. Aluminum end plates. It's a pretty expensive wing for this car. I had the GT4 wing for this car before that, and while it was okay, this wing just had a lot of cool factor for me. I really enjoy aerodynamics and the stuff that goes into that. After talking with Air Emotions and going through all kinds of different options for wings, this is what I arrived at. And while it was expensive, it's really cool and I enjoy it a lot. Yeah. A note on end plates, I was like, well, how come you guys don't have these big, giant, like 3D end plates that you see on other manufacturers? And they basically told me we wind tunnel test our wings and we don't see any benefit with big, giant end plates.
Interesting.
It's negligible. I thought that was really interesting. The biggest thing that affects downforce is the cord depth, which is just a 13-inch cord. You're basically separating the air for longer. It's about the same as having a shorter wing with a little gurney flap, but without the drag. The longer cord, no gurney flap, is less drag. You can run less angle on a bigger wing for more downforce with less drag as well. That's kind of why I went with the longer, deeper wing to be the most aerodynamically efficient person out there for the best sub 2 lap times. Even though there's no trophy at the end of the day. So it's a carbon trunk. Never mind my Home Depot
reinforcement.
Yeah, it's kind of corny, I know, but I wasn't super impressed with this trunk, to be honest with you. It's a little bit flimsy.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of had to do this L bracket here to help keep the wing, give it the biggest footprint possible. Again, we have titanium hardware, drilled hinges. This is so I can put the wing, because the wing will hit the.
Oh yeah.
Because there's no struts anymore. I ground off the little nubs that are somewhere in here. I don't know. Yeah. And I cut about 2 inches off of the end of this hinge.
Oh, okay.
And that saved a lot of weight, along with the strut that goes there too. Because you don't need them. I mean, it just sits like that. If you don't have a big wing on there, it has its own stopper.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, so it's not an issue. Remove some of the brackets here associated with the sub that used to be there. The lightweight lithium battery, that's from Volt Freaks. That's the VPH 900. Battery weighs 7 pounds.
Wow.
I still have some electronics in there. I'm going to clean everything up when I have my guy do the wiring.
Okay.
The thing with these cars, if you remove too much wiring or if you remove the wrong wiring, it like won't turn on. So I don't want to be that guy with a big pile of wiring and a car that doesn't work. The car will not go fast with no wiring if it won't turn on. I also drilled I also drilled this guy here.
What is wrong with you?
I got more time than money sometimes, and this is the result.
No,
I could take that off and drill that.
No, I think this is what makes your car cool. I love it.
Thanks. Yeah, it's when I can get a couple hours in the garage with a young kid and that sort of thing, between balancing full-time job and having a small family. If I can get a couple hours in the garage, if I could put a couple of holes in a trunk bracket, it's a good time. Nothing really to see underneath this here. I just have this here so it's flat. I do plan on doing a flat carbon panel here. Okay. I already had the titanium hardware for this bad boy. God. So there's that. And then I took off the associated brackets that go with the comms unit that's back there. This is a Future Classic license plate frame. It's aluminum with titanium hardware. I know what you're gonna say. Isn't not having a frame lighter than having one? And the answer is yes, but I kind of want to look good still. That's my whole thing. Lightweight can look great. Yeah. So it was actually lighter than the plastic frame I had on there before. These are also Future Classic with the IND painted tow hook cover. You just kind of yank on it and it comes out, that sort of thing. The bases for these things are titanium for a little extra weight savings. It's kind of nuts. It's like $600 for these tow hooks, front and rear. These tow straps with titanium bases, but it's just so cool I had to have it. Yeah. So, because the two hooks that you have to like carry with you and put in your car or put on for the track days, they weigh like 8 ounces each. So it's like a full pound you can ditch, just about. 4-cylinder titanium rear section. It's probably the lightest weight exhaust with an actual like exhaust that I know of short of just being a straight pipe out the back. Weighs about 17 pounds. I don't know of anything lighter. It's lighter than the Acura, I believe.
17 pounds.
And then if you look up under there, you'll see a lightened, optimized titanium hardware exhaust bracket here. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's nice little speed holes in there. So parts that I need to put on the car still, I have I think it's a Drexler GT4 Lite limited slip. I have some plastics for performance, rear window and the quarter windows. I'm gonna put some more speed holes in there, and yeah, I think I'm gonna call it good.
All right. What about yourself? Did you ever think about losing some weight?
All I have to do to start losing weight is stop going to the gym, and I'll start dropping weight. But I can't do that. I kind of enjoy it too much.
You love working on it.
Yeah. Oh, another thing I want to point out is the Cusco rear brace. So that's an aluminum brace, and you'll notice that all the hardware on there is titanium.
Of course.
I put some of my own speed holes in there. Those holes on the bracket are from me.
We see the pattern here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Cusco.
When I eventually cage the car, I'm going to get rid of that rear shelf completely. But it does serve a purpose right now, as is.
That is cool. And this is a factory carbon?
Yeah, that's the factory carbon. I took a lot of time to scrape the ceiling of the car and get all of the glue residue off, and then I polished it, and it still isn't looking that great. I think it was never meant to be like good looking carbon.
Well, it looks good.
It's not like it has like a clear coat on it, like it's paint, you know?
Right.
But it still looked pretty good after polishing, so I'm proud of that.
You took the cover out of the brake light?
Of course. And then the handles, there was a big bracket associated with the handles that is no longer there.
Oh, yeah.
So I took the welds off of that,
Nice.
ground the welds off of that, and I made it kind of flush and nice. So just got a splash of paint on there.
Any future goal with this car?
To finish it. It'll never be there, but you know, get closer with every drill, every hole we drill, you know. Yeah, I just want to get back into tracking. Like I was saying, I had a kid who's 1 year old now, and I got the big truck to do to tow the car with, so the whole family can go and bring the dogs and the kid and make it like a family day, even though it's not really a family day. It's a me day. I can call it a family day though. No, there's things to be done that we can all enjoy. But,
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. Just need to get back into tracking, really.
Yeah. Before you owned this car, what else did you own?
My first car was an '86 Toyota pickup, just a little 4-cylinder. I had a 2002 Nissan Frontier that I turned into a rock crawler, and it wasn't a good daily driver anymore, so I got the 325 as a daily driver, and that was a good daily driver until I got this. And I intended to keep that 325 as a daily driver. I never wanted to drive it after driving this.
Yeah.
So this was my daily driver for some years. Then I had a 2015 Smart electric car. Nice. And then now I have a F-250 and a Chevy Bolt. It's my tow rig and my daily beater.
Do you have a dream car?
Ooh, this car, but finished. What a dream, huh? You know, I kind of like the Ferrari 430s, although those are kind of skyrocketing in price. I don't think I'll ever get one, just because I don't think I'll be able to enjoy it the way I want to. But it's kind of like the e92 M3 version of like Ferrari. It's like their entry-level V8 rear engine kind of thing. They sound good, they're naturally aspirated. I think it would be a lot like this car, but on a Ferrari level with the engine in the back. So the 430 is probably my attainable dream car.
What does sub 2 mean to you?
You know, it's just self-development, continuous and never-ending improvement. That's kind of what we're after, right? We're kind of racing against ourselves with trying to get the best time, trying to make the car as good as it can be. I mean, the car's got the lap time in it. It's me. It's up to me to make the time happen. Although I get out there sometimes, and after a long break, and I'm rusty. Yeah, it's just self-development and self-improvement. That's what it's all about, right?
And finally, what things about life do you learn through cars?
Ooh. Sometimes it sucks a little bit, but when you're doing it, it's a lot of fun for the most part.
Oh.
I don't know.
Very true. No, that was good.
So this is my drill drawer.
Okay.
I have a couple of different bits here that I like to use. These are by far the best, the cleanest. I'll use this with some cutting oil.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll use a hand drill if I'm using my regular drill bits, something like that.
Okay.
A lot of times I'll use a drill press. I'll use these Home Depot paint stirrers for like shims if I'm drilling something something odd to handle, like an e-brake handle that has a lot of weird angles, and I have to really shim it up. I'll use these clamps to kind of clamp it down. Yeah, I just kind of look around the part and see what I can drill. For drilling tube, this device, you drill through the top, but you can center it.
Nice.
And it won't let the drill bit walk on this tube.
Is there a certain brands or material that you stick with as far as drill bits? Because I always make my drill bits kind of dull, so maybe there's a...
Not really. I mean, I really like these Milwaukee drill bits, but I'm probably due for a new set. They're pretty worn. These are just from Amazon, and you know what? Every once in a while, the teeth fall off of them, and I just get another one. They're not very expensive. I think they're like $22, and they'll last me for a while. And I have them in different sizes. They have a nice. This is adjustable, but they have a nice pilot drill bit in there, and so you use a punch, you center it up where you want to drill, tighten it down, and then bang it out with the drill press.
Okay. And
it's relatively easy. I mean, I watched a lot of YouTube videos on like how to drill metal. So there's not really a big trick to it. You know, relatively slow RPMs on the drill press, cutting oil, hole punch. There's a lot of different ways I clean things up. This is a deburring tool. You put this in the hole and you scrape it around. I also use these like sanding bits that I'll like kind of press into the hole depending on what I'm trying to do. These are deburring bits. They work okay depending on what you're trying to achieve. I got these recently. I only used them when I was doing the e-brake handle. They work good, but they don't leave like a super clean surface like the sanding bit does. And then I also got these little files, which I used a lot for the e-brake because there were some double-sided surfaces that I had to get between to sand, so that the e-brake actually like went up and down again. When I first drilled it, it was really tight, and it was because all the metal like inside there was making contact with the gearing, the ratchet rather, inside there, and so I was like, oh man, I mean, it's an eBay part I got for $35, so I could like potentially ruin it, but I was like, man, I just wasted like half a day and this part because it's not going to work right. So these saved my life with that. Not saved my life, but you know what I mean.
I filmed this too.
I keep all my OEM. This is like my OEM parts graveyard. So I don't know why I keep them. There's trophies, I guess, to the gods of speed. So these are one of my misses here. So this is a titanium, fully 100% titanium hose clamp. I was gonna use it for the throttle bodies. The problem was it was the right size because you can trim it. The height was too much, so it was probably like an 1/8 inch too high, and I didn't want it to make the plenum sit a little bit taller and risk it slipping off of the throttle bodies. So I had to axe that project. But,
can I see that real quick?
Yeah.
Wow, this is super light.
So this is the OEM horn bracket. Didn't need this anymore. There's 2 horns on these cars. There's like the high pitch and the low pitch.
Okay.
I took one off and I bolted it to the, I think it's the high pitch that I have. So it's like, I bolted it to a spot on the composite crash bar in the M3. So it's above the intake, but like not interfering with the bumper. So it still has one horn. Serves its purpose, you know. OEM hardware that I keep for some reason, I don't know. Like I'm gonna put the car back to stock or something. They've come in handy though when I've needed a bolt, and yeah, I was able to find one. All right, so this is a comparison in similar size titanium and regular steel nuts. So about 0.2 ounces,
Oh my God.
0.3 maybe, fine. I'm kind of hovering over it. Then we have titanium. And it doesn't really, you need a couple of them to really see a difference.
Okay.
But you could feel as you pick them up, Peter, you could feel the difference in weight.
Oh wow, this is like paper.
Yeah, it's weird.
Wow.
And it's just as strong. It's just a lot less weight. So imagine this with every bolt on the car.
I don't want to imagine. It's a headache for me.
I'm not quite there yet, but I'm working my way through it. So.
Is that your like ultimate goal? To
No, because it's a really bad return on investment. It's,
how much is that bolt? The
this
titanium?
is probably like $4.50,
Okay.
and this is probably like 3 cents. Like there's no, it's a bad investment. Like people ask me, oh, like what can I get? You know, where can I get weight off of this or that? I'm like, titanium, but I don't recommend it at all. Like it's cool and all, but it's not a good return on investment. Like pound for dollar, no, it's stupid. There's probably a couple grand in titanium on that car, and it's just I probably saved 3 or 4 pounds somewhere in there.
But it's just cool knowing that.
Oh yeah, it's totally cool. Like
Yeah.
all the door hardware is titanium. Most of the bolts under the hood are titanium. There's some bolts under the car that are titanium. Yeah. But yeah, it's a waste of money. Don't do it.
What 3 things would you do to reduce weight on a E92 M3s?
The biggest one is the battery. And then I would do a carbon plenum. The battery can save about 45 pounds easily in about 15, 20 minutes. And you're gonna have to replace the battery anyway, so you might as well spend the money. The plenum's kind of cool because it's weight up front. The Carbonius box saves about 8 pounds. And then the free stuff, you could just rip out the carpet, the back seats. I think my folding back seats were about 45 pounds. My rear carpet was like 13 pounds. The door cards are, I think, 9 pounds each, just right about in that neighborhood. The front carpet was somewhere around 13, 14 pounds. Yeah, so there's free stuff. And then there's the more expensive stuff, like the Team Schirmer doors. They save 70 pounds, but they're $5,000, $5,500 shipped over here.
Jeez.
Plus all the taxes and crap that they tack on when you import parts. Plus a couple grand for paint if you want it to look good. Yeah, you can get crazy with it, or you can do all the free stuff and save similar weight. But if you want to do all of it, you got to pay to play. There's definitely parts on the car that cost a lot of money.
Right.
The rear wing was like $6,300,
Wow.
somewhere in that neighborhood. But it's active and it's carbon and it's cool.
Well, thank you so much for your time today,
course.
Mike.
Oh, thanks for coming by, man.
It was very cool. Any last thing you want to say to the audience, Mike?
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
You could find my my weight loss nonsense at Roast Beef Mike on Instagram. And I'm not like a YouTuber or anything like that. I'm on the forums a lot under the same name. But check me out on Instagram.
Yes. Hey, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you at the next one.